What is up, YouTube? We are currently 16 days away from PoE Delve coming out, and we have the questions released. The frequently asked questions just got released, which is good news for all of us that wanted to theorycraft based on a massive list of questions that we've been looking at over the last 48 to 72 hours or so. So with all that being said, let's hop right in and check out what questions got asked as well as what questions got answered. After our Delve announcement at the end of last week, there was much community discussion about many aspects of the league and its mechanics. We've collected some of the key talking points to explain further in today's news. If you missed it, check out our full announcement, official trailer and developer introduction, and Ziggy D's in-depth look at the Delve expansion. When do you first encounter the Delve content? As early as the coast. Wow, okay, so similar to Incursion, we can bump into Delve right away. This may actually be earlier than Incursion, because I don't believe we met Alva Valai as early as the coast. How common is voltaxic sulfite, the material that's needed to delve? It's in every area, sometimes multiple deposits of it. Okay, cool. Every single area, similar to Alva Valai from Incursion. Is there a minimum amount of voltaxic sulfite needed to enter the mine? There is a minimum amount of voltaxic sulfite required to get the crawler to go to a new location, but it's quite small for short delves. Okay. Is there a capacity on how much voltaxic sulfite you can carry? Yes, and you can upgrade this with azurite if you feel it's too low. Okay. So basically, this is going to be the mechanic for limiting the depth or the length of the delve that we go on. It's going to be the amount of voltaxic sulfite that we can carry on a particular dive. How long can you spend in the mine assuming you have filled your voltaxic sulfite capacity? This depends on a number of factors, but with reasonable capacity upgrades at a reasonable depth, you can chain a few longer delves together if you want to consume all of your voltaxic sulfite at once. Okay, so folks speculating that potentially delve was an entirely new way to level, that's going to be gone. You're going to need to at least interact with the rest of the PoE world, Acts 1 through 10, as it were, throughout the leveling experience, because you're going to have to collect voltaxic sulfite. Do you have to wait for Niko to collect the sulfite once you encounter it? No, you can click it and walk away, or click him and go to the delve immediately. Okay, that's cool. So we don't need to sit there and wait for some animation to go off. It's not some delay tactic to get us to spend longer time inside interacting via an animation. You can just click on it and walk away. That's fantastic. That was one of the biggest complaints out of Bestiary, was folks having to slow down in the animation time for casting nets. Can I bypass leveling in other areas of the game and spend most of my time exclusively in the mine? No, you have to play the regular game to get voltaxic sulfite, so that way you can play delves. Makes sense? They've kind of already answered that question. Can you use azurite for anything other than upgrading your mining equipment? All right, answer. Azurite can be spent upgrading your mining equipment, sulfite capacity, darkness resistance. Yes, remember, darkness does its own type of damage. It's not elemental and it's not chaos, it's not physical. Light radius to offset the growing difficulty of deeper levels, as well as upgrades for flares, capacity, radius, and duration, and dynamite. Capacity, damage, and radius. Okay, that's interesting. So dynamite does damage, so maybe there will be different walls or different blockades that require different amounts of damage capacity on your dynamite. That's interesting. You can also directly buy more flares, dynamite. That's an interesting sentence. You can also directly buy more flares and dynamite to help with your delves. Okay, so azurite is basically our trade material as we're interacting with Niko and all things delve. Niko also sells resonators to craft with for a price. So he's kind of like a mix of like Perandus, kind of, well, no, kind of like Einhar and Alva Valai both, in that Alva, lets him, Alva went into another instance. Niko is going to let you the opportunity to go to a delve into another instance. That's interesting, but then he's also got this craftable stuff that we're going to be able to buy. Okay, can you trade azurite, sulfite, flares, and dynamite? Do they take up inventory space? They cannot be traded and do not take up inventory space. These track your own delve progress and are stored for your individual character. All right, interesting. So no inventory space in individual character means there will not be a market for this stuff. It's not going to be a tradable item. And Stored for your individual character means you're not even going to be able to store it per character? Is your mind progress character based? Is your mind progress character based or account wide? Huh. It's character based, but there is a catch up mechanism for subsequent characters if you don't want to play Delve while leveling. Okay, this is interesting. I say interesting because I'm not sure if that's good or if that's bad. We're just going to have to wait on some of this stuff and see how it plays out. But if we can't trade this stuff, it means every single character that we play is going to have to farm up Azurite and Voltaxic Sulphite. Yeah, because they can't be traded. Same for Flares and Dynamite. Like if you're playing on a league starter, this essentially means you need to be playing on multiple different characters, and building up a wealth of this league-specific stuff is going to do you nothing on a particular character. Will your mine layer differ to others? Yes, every character's mine is different. The same types of things spawn at the same depths with the same rarities, so if someone finds something cool at a specific location, have a look around at that depth. Okay, cool. So depths are kind of like almost like map tiers, probably different depths are going to drop different things at specific points. Can you teleport to any checkpoint in the Azurite mine? Yes, like the waypoint system. Okay, like it. Is the mine only infinite downwardly? It is also infinite laterally, okay, side to side. So it's not just, hey, getting more difficult, but also if you farm to a particular difficulty setting and then you will comfortably want to farm it, you can just go side to side with it. So again, similar to maps in that if you want to push your build to a specific tier of map or depth of mine, then you'll simply be able to comfortably farm it. Does the mine get harder than maps? Yes. Very much so. Okay, cool. People that wanted to race to the end of the mines, to the greatest depths of the mines, and worried about end game content, that is good news for them. Is the mine a single area, or are there loading screens between checkpoints? So remember, incursion was one load time when you entered the instance, and you didn't have to load anything else when you went into the incursion. So it's interesting. It creates a large area around your starting point. So if you travel through a lot of delves, you'll eventually hit a loading screen. In practice, this rarely comes up. Okay, so that's going to be really interesting because I wonder if you have like temporary invulnerability when you enter a new zone whenever there's a loading screen. And I wonder what the signal is that there's going to be a loading screen. If you travel through a lot of delves, you'll eventually hit a loading screen. Yeah, that's interesting. Can you hit the loading screen while you're being chased by a bunch of baddies? Like if you're in a bad situation and you don't want to die, can you just be like, I'm going to run? Can you just Indiana Jones style, like look over your shoulder and just, no, there's a rolling boulder. Gotta get out of here. How will the mine work in parties? Everyone in a party gets their own sulphite when anyone clicks it. When you go to the mine, you leave behind a portal that your friends can use to enter your mine. The crawler's progress is tied to the owner of the mine. Oh, I can imagine so many dirty plays in hardcore with this. If that person leaves, then the crawler stops and the party will not be able to proceed. Okay, cool. So you can't jack somebody else's mine. You can't go in and steal their mine or steal their progress in their mine. Do maps drop in the mine? They're not in the regular drop pool, but some city and encounter rewards are specifically maps. Some city and encounter rewards? Okay, so maybe like encounters with bosses, because they've mentioned that a couple of times that there will be bosses at specific biomes. And some city, like there are underground cities? Like what are we looking at here, GGG? Like cities underground? Like are we talking like the Vol ruins? Are we talking like marketplace or arena, or like what does this mean? Some city encounters. Huh. That's fascinating. Okay. Will you find masters or trials in the mine? Short answer, no. Okay. So if you want to get your rotas going and you want to get your masters up, you're still going to be mapping. Can you run the same delve twice? Each delve can only be run once because the encounter is rewarding, but you can enter the area you cleared to hunt in the darkness with flares afterwards. The path that you have previously delved along is now lit by a cable of lights laid by the crawler. Okay, so the answer is no, you're not going to be able to literally run down the same stuff that you've already done. It's not going to reset your mine. But remember, because it's infinite laterally as well as going down, you're essentially never going to run out of stuff to mine, so that's cool. Are you able to backtrack with the crawler? You can go on any delve connected to a node that you have completed before. It transports you and the crawler to that location. Okay, cool. What happens if you die in a delve? Which is going to happen. I'm already calling it. I'm playing hardcore this league. I'm going to die so many times. Yeah, and I'm going to have to farm. It's going to be scary. But what happens if you die? Okay, it says if you die, you fail the delve and have to repeat it. You don't get the items that the crawler has picked up for what you for you on that failed attempt. Okay, so nothing. You get nothing. It's like hardcore. But for softcore characters, you're just not going to get any reward. So hardcore characters, you die. There's no reward ever. Other than the satisfaction of, hey, let's go beat that goal. Is there a ladder for both solo and group play? The solo ladder is the SSF ladder. The reason why this is the case is because there are so many different ways that players in a group non-SSF league can be helped by friends. People can pool items or well together, power level each other, help with difficult delves, etc. Results on the non-SSF ladder have to be treated the same way we treat their level and item gains. They are influenced by other players. SSF results are guaranteed to be solo. SSF is looking more and more exciting to me every single league, but I'm still not going to do it. I'm still playing a trade league. Okay, will there be global announcements when players reach new depths in the mine? Probably. Okay, so this isn't a decision yet. It at least isn't a decision yet. Remember, there were global announcements for when people entered specific areas in bestiary, like when you went to your bestiary the first time. On day one, people were just going and checking out the bestiary, and it was a global message like, so-and-so has entered the cage of Arawaks. It's like, oh, boy, he's racing really competitively. What kind of damage is the darkness? How does it stack? It is its own damage type. Only defenses that reduce all damage can reduce darkness damage. It stacks up twice a second and can get very dangerous very quickly. Yeah, that sounds terrible. Stacking twice a second. Oh my goodness. Does light radius on items affect your experience in the mine? No, the darkness suppresses regular light, so players have no light radius in the mine themselves. Okay, so everybody going light radius meta is now a meta? No, it's not. Light radius is still crap. Yeah. Okay, so it's just, hey, farm sulphite. You may not like that. You may end up liking it, but the game is at least saying, hey, light radius is not all of a sudden an exciting stat to have. Is darkness resistance only available through the upgrade panel, or can you get it on item mods? It only comes from the upgrade panel. Okay, so again, we're farming azurite and sulphite. That's what we're going to be doing. Will I be able to use Flicker Strike in the mine? Yes, absolutely. Just note that the darkness will kill you. So anybody that wants to try a hardcore Flicker Strike build, go for it. How does darkness affect minions and totems? This was my big question. It does not. Okay, so there we go, folks. This is the Summoner League. Let me say this loudly and clearly. Regardless of whatever else gets announced, at the very least, minions and summoners are going to be at least a sliver of the meta. And now I'm hedging my bets. It's going to be a chunk. It's going to be a big chunk. It may not be as meta as what we've seen for Sabos and Elementalists for Incursion. It may not get to like 15 to 17% of the league playing it. But it actually might. If darkness doesn't kill or destroy your minions, I mean, we're looking at Hierophant and Necromancer, and then the revamped Guardian that's now going to be a minion ascendancy. Like, those are the three ascendancies that you're looking at right now for minions and totems. Oh, also Chieftain for totems. Does the scaling of the mine apply to specters? Can we summon high-level specters as we get deeper into the mines? Specters are the level corresponding to the depth you entered the mine at. You can summon high-level specters from the mine. The answer is yes. This is the Summoners League. So I'm going to have a ball with this. This is going to be fun. Tell me about the dragon. Delve has a variety of interesting bosses and encounters. Smiley face. Okay. So they didn't say it's not a dragon. They did not say it's not a dragon. So for those of you wondering, go rewatch the Delve trailer, because there is 100% a dragon. Can we stack copies of the same fossils in a resonator? The answer is no. Okay, it's good to know. How do the rarities of the various resonators compare? There are two types of resonators, chaotic and alchemical. These have the functionality of chaos orbs and orbs of alchemy, respectively. Each can have a number of sockets. Ones with many sockets are harder to find than the ones with few. How rare will fossils be? Will they have an equal drop chance? Most fossils aren't that rare. You'll have plenty of opportunity to craft cool items this league. Certain powerful ones are rarer than others. Okay. What does GGG think is powerful? That's my question off of that. That's my follow-up there. Like, okay, so powerful stuff's going to be rare. but what fossils are considered powerful? Because at this point, everybody's just going nuts over socketable currency and fossils in general. So I guess we're going to see what are the more powerful ones in more announcements to come. What's the difference between the Reliquary keys in Delve and the Reliquary keys in Legacy? Time-worn Reliquary keys, the ones in Delve, drop less frequently, but have more valuable results. The relics that can be found in the Time-worn Reliquary are shiny versions of any unique item that were available in past Path of Exile leagues that aren't in the main unique drop pool. Like Headhunter, all 151 have equal chances of being in the Reliquary. Okay, so there's been some discussions on this for trade leagues, how much a Reliquary key is going to be worth based on this, and some people have said, well, it's just a Reliquary key is basically going to be 151 the value of 151th of a Headhunter. And I actually think that the argument for that is actually pretty strong on its base merit, that whatever is the most valuable unique is probably going to be the controlling mechanism for pricing out the rest of Reliquary keys. But the reality is that while Headhunter is consistently a top priced item each league, we're not sure yet what the meta will be for this league, and occasionally there are items that actually take over Headhunter in terms of price. So we'll see exactly what builds are prevalent in the meta, as well as what builds can delve the deepest. Because it could be that there's a unique from a past league that is a build enabling unique for some new build that can push delve depths to even further rates than what a Headhunter would allow, and so therefore maybe that item will be more expensive than a Headhunter and therefore be the control factor for what Reliquary keys are worth. So we'll see what those are like. Are there any hideout changes coming? Yes, but not in 3.4. We'll be making major changes in 3.5. Okay, so that's interesting because they haven't responded to party play questions, which I believe party play questions were coming in 3.4. I think those party play improvements still have been timelined along the 3.4 release. So if the quality of life stuff comes out in 3.4, and then there's hideout changes coming along with Masters in 3.5 in December, that would be interesting if there's any guild updates or other party play updates that come out in 3.5 after they've already tried the quality of life stuff that's coming out in 3.4. But all of that could get pushed back if the quality of life stuff doesn't come out in 3.4. Will the Delve soundtrack be added to the supporter pack? Yes, but we don't have an exact time frame on when. Okay, that's great. Love that you guys are always up to date with us on time frames. I always love that GGG does that they just simply let us know, hey, we're not there yet. We don't have a timetable, so we don't want to set a deadline out there and then have a bunch of people going, hey, where's that thing, when the deadline's not met. Which items will the crawler pick up? Anything within the light radius of the crawler. Okay, so again, we need to pick up Voltaxic Sulphite and Azurite in order to buy this stuff, because we're going to have flares, because that means that there's going to be stuff that's going to drop obviously outside of the light radius of the crawler, and we're going to want to go pick it up. What is the maximum speed of the crawler? The base speed is proportional to your run speed. For example, if you use a Quicksilver Flask, the speed increases. The crawler can also move faster than your run speed if you get in front of it via movement skills. All of this is really not important because the monsters are hard enough that the challenge is not being left behind. You're not escorting the crawler, it's escorting you. All right, folks, leave us a comment down below. What do you all think? I mean, here's at least the start of the FAQ. I've got follow-up questions. I'm sure you all have follow-up questions. Leave us a comment down below about what y'all think. We're just over 16 days away from Delve being released. I'm hype. I'm excited. And I'm really excited, again, every single day as new and more info comes out to get excited about. I'm still stoked for this. This is probably the worst league to be playing hardcore on in a while, but we're going to enjoy it.